So today's topic, well, no special guests today, so I'll be the one taking today's session. So I'm going to be taking us through Power Query, and I've listed out some things I want to take us through. So pardon me that I don't have a slide, and usually I don't like using slides, especially since it's a 1-hour demo. So it's better I pack in as much practical as I can put in the 1 hour rather than flipping between slides and what to do. So we're going to start with different tasks that we can accomplish with Power Query. So I'm going to number one. So let me please so you can see the tasks as I want to demonstrate them. So the different tasks are in Power Query that I want to demonstrate to us. So I'm just going to drop in a box. I wasn't planning to do this before, but I felt okay. I think doing this is going to make it easier for you to keep track of what I am demonstrating. So I'm going to go at them one by one. I'm going to start with consolidating file in a folder. So I have the practice data, which requires that I go to Power Query. Small on the Zoom. Okay, I'm going to increase my screen resolution. Or more correctly, I'll increase my screen zoom. So that way you'll be able to see my yeah. So I'm starting with number one, which is consolidating files in a folder. So I have, for demonstration, I have a folder that I'm putting some reports. So it's called sales login. I did a webinar last week. You know, so I did a webinar Friday, and I created some test files. So I think it would be nice to use one of them. Let me just go look. So imagine that I have some reports from different people every day. Very fast. Different regions. We get reports from different regions, and I also analyze them all in consolidated report. I don't want it to be, and I don't want to analyze them individually. Okay, so how do I go about that? I go to get data in Power BI. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on more, and voila. So this is up. I'm going to pick folder, and then I'm going to say connect. So I'm picking a folder. Some people still, as much as I think this is a very common thing or something that shouldn't be too looking too deep, I still come across people who are unaware of this functionality. So I think I cannot overstate it. So I'm going to just, if you have seen it before, then great. Hopefully, the other things I'll be showing will be things that you will learn from. Now, Let me just quickly check why that can be. Right. So someone just notified me, Monsieur Anthony just notified me that my sound is not coming clear.
Yes.
Is it looking better? Is it better now? Or
Now is okay.
okay, thank you, sir. I guess maybe because I'm facing this, I'm going to just adjust my arrangement. Okay, so I think with this, things should be a bit better. Let me just rearrange things so I'll be closer to the mic because I'm using two displays actually. All right, so I'm going to go browse to the folder. Pardon me, today's session kind of has given me cold. This is the last of the 3 sessions we run daily, weekly, on the same day. So I'm going to go to where I have the folder for that set of reports. So I make sure that the reports that come from those different regions, I have them in a standalone folder called sales report. So I pick this folder and I say OK. So the moment I do that and I click on OK, right? Right now we are still within Power Query, even though you are not yet seeing it. Power Query is the aspect of the Power BI that brings in our data and allows us to do transformation. So as you can see, it is already showing me the content of the folder. So it's telling me I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different files in that folder. And what do I want to do? So let's see. What is it that I want to do? What I want to do is I want to combine all of those different reports which are sitting in different files and they are all in that folder. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell Power Query that I want to combine. So I click combine and okay, just so you see how it works, I'm going to do combine and transform data. So combine and transform data means that Power BI should combine all of these files, which as I have demonstrated to us, they are files from a folder where I have reports that come in periodically. So I'm going to combine them and transform. Okay, so doing that. Okay, and this is now going to show up the navigator and it's going to ask me to select the sheet that I want to combine across those different files. So I am picking the sheet 1, which has the report in all those different files. They are consistently in the sheet 1. And I carry on. So it is working and sometimes it goes to the background. So now I have pulled it to show and you'll see it has combined them all. Take a look at it. Now I have all those different files and I have them combined together in one table for me, right? And so if I load this table, if I say close and apply, it's going to load that entire report table into the Power BI model for me. And you know what? I'm going to have the consolidated data. So this is it. So now I have here all the different reports across the different files. So that's this number 1. I don't know if you have any question you can ask me before I move to the second task I want to show us that we can accomplish easily with the Power Query. So this is the number one, consolidating files in a folder. Okay. So now I'm going to go to number two. I'm going to go to number two in my planned agenda. So what about consolidating sheets in a folder? Sheets in a file, sorry, in a file or workbook. So what if for you, instead of all the different reports having to exist in different files, what if they are all in one file, in one workbook, but are separate sheets? Okay. So how do we take care of that? To again demonstrate an example that is patterned after that, I have I think I have a practice file for that. Huh? Well, not a problem. I can create one easily. So just imagine that I so I'm going to quickly create one such file now. So new, I'm going to call this Ikoyi. I'm going to grab the Ikoyi data and dump it here. Okay. So this is the Ikoyi one. Then I'm going to grab Ibadan and dump it here. So this is just so you see the process. But the real thing, reason you'll be doing this is how your data already comes. Not that you're the one creating that structure. If your data already comes in that format, then with Power Query, we can have a consolidated report easily. So I'm going to show you that. Uh, so let me just do for Kaduna and Enugu. Kaduna uh, and Enugu. Maybe I should just add Abuja since I have it opened also. So I already have it open. Okay. And Abuja. So let me go grab Abuja's data. And I grab Kaduna's also. Kaduna's. And I grab Enugu. Okay, so if this is how my data already come, then how do I, you know, consolidate all of this data into one data table, right? So let me just save this and say multiple reports in or multiple data in, in sheets. So let's save this in my document. And then I go to Power Query, or if you go to your regular Power BI. So to do what I've just shown, let me create another Power BI instance so that we don't mix them up, right? So I'm going to create another Power BI instance. So it's coming up. Seems people prefer the guest session. We have just 5 people in house today. So if this was a guest session, I'll be feeling bad because you'll be like, oh, the guest will be like, how come I have just 5 audience? Well, since this is my own session, there's nothing to feel bad about. So I'm going to grab that Excel is the file that I want to pick stuff that are in different sheets from, and then I pick the specific file that has tables in different sheets. Okay, so I say okay. So this one is another common thing I notice people kind of do manually in Excel or don't think about as possible to do, all at once. So I'm going to say all of these I need. I need all of these in my Power Query. So it should import them. And then once it's done importing them into the Power Query, going to so I'm going to do what so gradually we are beginning to explore the Power Query menu. So this is what I mean by the Power Query menu. So most of what I'm going to do right now are going to be things that will force us to touch a lot of all the options you have seen in this menu. So right now we're going to do an option that involves this one, append query. So append queries allows us to consolidate reports across multiple tables to kind of like do what is the equivalent of copying and pasting underneath, right? So I'm going to say that all of these tables that I have imported, right, I want to append them. So let me just go here, pick append queries. Then I deliberately ensure that I'm picking queries as new. So with the append queries as new, it means that the final outcome is going to be its own standalone table. So I have more than two tables. So I'm picking the three or more tables. I'm knocking out this Abuja so that I don't put it in twice. I select all of these ones. I say add, and then I click on OK, and I wait for it. It's really fast and it's done. So I can say, okay, you know, maybe pan Nigeria, or you could say Nigeria, the national sales. So I can call it national sales table. So what that means is this is going to have the data that is a consolidation of all across these other tables. So this is it. This is a append queries as new. Append queries. So that's the function in Power Query we just touched on. This one. This append queries. So I'm going to move on now to another item on the agenda. So I I hope I am recording because this will be painful if I'm not recording. Okay, good. So I am. I'm going to go to the third one. So let's go to the third one. The third one is something really unique. This one, even if you use the other ones I've mentioned, this one is something that um, I'm sure there will be people in here who have not used it before. So how do you grab a value from a cell, from an Excel cell, so that we understand from an Excel cell? So how do you do this? You might be like, why will you need to do this? Okay, so I have an explanation. I have an example with which to demonstrate why you might have a situation that will require that. So let me open for us a particular report that things are messed up in it in such a way that you will be glad you know this grab a value from a cell on how to do this anyway. So I'm going to open, it's going to say it can't open the same. So yeah, you can't open a two files with the same name. So let me close all these other ones. So let me close. Save. Do not save. Okay, great. So let me go open this. Now, when I open it, I want you to notice something. Are you noticing that this one has the account manager or branch manager? So there's a branch manager also in the report. Unfortunately, the branch manager is not as a column, and that's what we would like. So if you want to have the branch manager as its own standalone column, right? So you will have manager, and then we'll be able to put the manager names. Let me not say. So if I want to do that, how do I achieve this? In Power Query. So ready? I'm going to go to again. I'm going to go to Power Query to Excel anyway. I'm going to go grab so that I always start from a clean slate. Let me close all these other ones so we don't get too, or more importantly, I don't get confused. When you have too many Power Query, Power BI files open, funny things can happen. So maybe I'll just delete all of these ones, so I don't keep opening again and again. So I'm going to delete all of these. I'm going to close these. Okay, great. So I want to bring in this file. But now the manager's name is supposed to come up as its own column. Okay. So let's see. What do? I go to get data from Excel. I go grab that particular file. So I pick it, I say open. So Abuja, which of the Abujas am I supposed to be? Okay. Doesn't matter any one I pick. So let me just pick the first one then, since it really doesn't matter which one. Okay, great. So as you can see, I am having a problem here where the field headers are here, but then the manager name is above it. So I need to go transform in Power Query to be able to, fix my issues before I bring the data back into the Excel, into not Excel, the Power BI model. All right, so I'm going to zoom my screen, or maybe make my zoom will be good. Ordinarily, I will just do promote headers, right? Promote first row as header. But if you do that, I lose the manager name forever. So the manager name is lost. So I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to not promote. I'm going to, first of all, in fact, this that has happened already, this promotion to header that has already been auto-done by Power Query, I'm going to undo those steps because I need to grab this manager name. So I'm going to undo all those steps. So I'm going to cancel this, cancel this. Okay, so with this now, I have the manager name, and I can click on the manager name. So this is the nice thing, this is what makes this possible. You click on this that you want to extract, right? And then you right click. So I'm going to right click now. I'm going to right click. And you see this add as a new query, right? That's what I'm going to do. So I click on add as new query. So once I do that, it generates this for me, right? As you can see, it generates an M code. So this M code, I'm going to grab and copy because I'm going to use it. So I grab this and I copy. So I grab and I copy. Okay. And then I go back in here and then I do the normal transformations I want to do, which is I could say, take out, remove the top. How many rows now? Maybe you should remove the top one row. So remove top row. So this is an opportunity for me to show you remove top row. I could have used those first row as headers twice, but then the more of the options I show you, expose to you, the better, for this our session. So if you have some rows that you need to remove all at once, you could just say, oh, remove the first 4 rows or remove the first 5 rows. So in this case, I'm removing the first one row or top one row. Then now I can promote these as header. So I promote this first row as header. Now that I've done that, I want to get that manager name. So what do? I go to add column, add custom column, right? So with the add custom column, I'm going to put the manager as the column name. And as for the query, I put in that one that I copied before. So once I paste in that query that I copied from the step I had earlier done, I click on OK, and voila, here we have it. So now I have the manager, right? So this is the manager now extracted completely into its own column. Okay, so that's what I was intending to show us. Number 3. So what about field, which in Excel is like field series, but here we can do fill up / fill down. Okay, maybe to be consistent with my case, let me use the lower case. So fill up, fill down. You might be like, oh, okay, so what is that supposed to do for us? Now, if you come back in here, I want you to take a look at my table. Now, this table I have here, Abuja is showing only once. So I would like to fill it down because that's the entire name of the branch for all these transactions. So me filling this down is what we call fill down. So it's kind of a very common thing that if you just right click on it on the field name, you should see it as you see it as the options, right? So I can say fill down. So I'm going to tell Power BI, in this case the Power Query, that I want to fill down that branch name. So that can be very useful. Otherwise, those records will look often. You won't be able to know how many transactions happen in Abuja if you don't fill it down. Okay, so that's one. So let me just check again what other things I need to show you. So next is choose column. So there are times that I'm doing reports, right? And so let me try and create a situation that might be like that. So let me quickly grab a situation for us. Okay. Okay. So if I go to, by the way, that's what we just finished about grabbing this. This is not compulsory for you to leave. You can delete. You don't need it anymore. The only advantage of doing this is so that the Power Query generates the M code for you. So you will know the code to use. That I've deleted does not affect my work here. Okay. So it's not compulsory you leave it there. I'm going to bring in another Excel file. So I come in here, Excel file, and then I want to show you choose column. So let me just write it here. So I want to show us choose column. As simple as it is, it's something that made my life easy when I started using it very much. There's some things that but when you don't use it's also as good as you don't know them. So it's not so much of a trouble in showing you again. I'm going to go to where I have that file saved. I don't think it has detected what I wanted to detect. It didn't work. Uh, let's see if this will work. So let me go grab it again, and hopefully with that new uh, errors or relevant stuff I've added there, the scenario I want to create is going to pop up. This is really serious. Okay. All right, so I think I give up. Let me use a completely new file. So I'm going to do Control New, grab this, paste here. Good. And maybe just add some values peel over into here. Okay, good. So I'm going to save this and call it choose color. So I'm going to save it in documents. Let's go see. Choose colors. Voila. So I've seen the problem, or I'm seeing the problem I want. All right, so I bring this in, right? And it should begin and it could good. So there are many real life client work I'm on that you see, there's so many columns that what I need are not many. And the columns might be all arranged in such a way that maybe I need column the first three, I don't need the next four, I need the next two, I don't need the next four, I need the next one, I don't need the next three. And they can be like up to 80 columns, you know. I'm not exaggerating, you know, I've had one, I don't know if I've had one 84, up to 80 columns. Maybe I need just 20 out of the 80 columns. So before then, I used to delete. So I'll be scrolling through the ones I don't need. I pick, I pick, I be doing shift. So the problem with doing shift is that if I mistakenly, you know, didn't hold the shift button correctly and I do shift again, it can select the other ones, right? And you need to remember where you stop it compared to just going here to choose column. Choose column is right up here. Compared to doing this choose columns, that one is a really laborious way. So I prefer to do choose columns since I started. The funny thing is I've known choose columns, you know, for a longer time than when I started using it. So that's why I'm hoping, even if you have known it before now, I want you to not be like me. Try to use it a lot more so that you don't end up still doing things the long way when you have a really large table with many columns that a large part of those columns are not needed in your report. So we choose columns. Sometimes I even just on selector and select just the ones I need. And then voila, done. Say okay. And it's select just those ones that I need. So that's the choose column. Okay. Then next example, see on pivot. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. Imagine that you are doing surveys, right? So you are doing surveys. You are carrying out surveys across different states, and then you're asking different people different questions, right? So maybe to make things anonymous, right? You didn't get you gave them. So if you are using SurveyMonkey, it generates a user an anonymous. So let's say the respondent. So they generate some unique IDs to show that these are the respondents, but you didn't ask their names. So you asked different questions. So questions are like question one, what is your age? Question two, gender. Question three, uh, favorite number. So you get the whole idea, you know. So there are questions you've asked them, and then you've asked a lot of people. So you've asked people across all the 36 states in Nigeria. So let me just try to replicate something like that. Okay. Oh my God, this is more than that. 36 states should stop me around here. Okay. So I can just say want to do this. 136. So maybe we surveyed, say, about 500. Let's even say we surveyed about 10,000 people. 10,003. 10,003. Okay. And then as for respondents, so this is a respondent 001. Okay. Nothing usually correct. So let's put 0001. Okay. All right. So for age, you know, we survey between 41 to, and then for gender, male, female. Let's say for now they are all binary, like whether male or female. So let's say we don't have the new gender types in our data sets yet. Something is wrong somewhere. One between. Close. So I drag that down. What's your favorite number between 1 and 9? Okay, good. So let's say this is the information that we've gotten from those different people we surveyed. So I'm going to say survey results. So this is survey results. I'm going to save this sheet as survey. So save. Saving my document. Now, the question I want to ask us is, if I want to create a report with this, I want to create a report where I'm able to see the questions and analyze people's answer, I'm going to be in problem. I can't create a report that even ordinarily like this, where Power BI has like a portrait, like a PowerPoint slide kind of page, and then I want to create a report where I want to throw in a slicer, and then in the slicer you can pick question 1, you can pick question 2, you can pick whatever question you want to analyze, and then you're going to have a pie chart that will show how many percentage, maybe male, how many percentage are female if you pick question 1. And if you pick a different question, maybe like all those favorite number, it's going to show you maybe how many people are in different age brackets, maybe how many people are between 20 and 30 years. So something like this, if I want to create it, I'm going to suffer unnecessarily if I don't do Unpivot. So let's go check it out. So if I go here, since I'm done with this one, let me just delete them. So I go to import from Excel, I import that my survey file, and check it out. So it's called Unpivot. Pivot. Let me just be sure I have given it the name. Yeah, Unpivot this. So that's what we want to do. So if I come in here and I say, okay, now so that you are going to understand it, so that you are going to understand what the problem is. If I do not do that step and I directly load this data, so I directly load this data into Power BI, let me tell you what the problem is that we are going to face. So I load this data directly into Power BI without doing that on pivot step that I mentioned. That slicer that I said I want to create. So this is a slicer. I had a slicer which everybody knows how to do, like everyone who uses Power BI. So here is the problem. What am I going to add? What am I going to drag in all of these places? So what am I going to drag to here to give me the slicer that I want? Let us check it out. Let's do trial and error. Let's even drag as many things as we have there and see which one comes close to the answer. Okay, so let's drag age. Nope. What I want is to be able to pick a question. So can I drag, am I going to drag all the questions there? If I drag all the questions there, they are not showing as me able to pick Q1 or Q2 or Q3. They're just showing as, hierarchies, right? So this is not what we want. And there's no way we can do what we want unless we do what I talked about. So I'm going to just clear out all of this. Go back to Power Query. So I go back to the Power Query. Then I do the Unpivot. So let's check out the Unpivot that I'm talking about. So what I do is I tell Power Query to collapse all the questions, which is Unpivot. So Unpivot the questions, So I go to Transform menu. I'm going to see Unpivot columns, and that's what I'm going to pick. So I'm going to pick this Unpivot column. See what it does. It collapses all those columns, which are Q1, Q2, Q3, into one column. Then the values underneath are now placed into a new column in front of them. So I can call these the questions that we ask. So these are the questions that we ask the respondents. And then this will be the answer that they gave. So this will be the answers. Answers. Okay. And with this now, if I go back to my analysis side, what I want becomes very easy to do, becomes possible, becomes achievable, right? So what I wanted originally, which is the ability for me to drop the questions in the slicer, so you can pick any question you want to analyze. See, now that is possible. If I didn't do Unpivot, that is not going to be possible at all. So I'm going to now do what I said, a pie chart, right? To pick something else, but since I've said a pie chart the other time, and then to become a case of what were the answers and how many people, chose those answers. Okay, so with this now, I can pick say gender, and instantly I see that 50 50.31% are female. These are 49.69 are male. And then I can pick another one, favorite number, and I'll see the distribution of the numbers. I could pick age, and I see. So for the age, it will be better to create like a range. But anyway, you get the whole idea, and that is of pivots. Okay, so now I move on to another item, which is, let me just pick back my notes. That will be split to rows. Split to rows. And I don't need this anymore. So I'm going to just clear this or just create a new page. So imagine that you have things this way. So I have SKUs and the brand name, but now all together, right? How am I going to fix them? So what I have is something like this. I have the SKU R dash the name, right? And then I have, say, I'm just going to be writing things that might not make sense, but you get the whole concept. So I could have um, finished product 1004, maybe this number like that. Let me use like 4 digit number so that life becomes easy for me. 1001, and the name of the product is top tip, right? Then now instead of me having another line, I'm having separated by a comma FP1002. So maybe this is lifting FP1003. This is Milo FP. FP 1004. Maybe this is a Born Vita. Then I have another set, FP 1005. So maybe this is Semovita. Then FP. So I think I'll stop at this line. FP 1006. Maybe this is wheat. And then FP 1007. Maybe this is what other thing is found. Then maybe just one more. So I'll stop at this one then. 08. So maybe this is a cake. FP1009. Then this is a mince pie. So now I have things this way. How am I going to arrange them in the way that is with the SKU and the name? So what I want to do something like SKU will be one place, and then the names will be here, and then I will have them all here and here. So how do we achieve this? Voila, meet split to rows or meet split. So we're going to use both of the options or as many options as we have on that split. So meet split. Okay, so let me just save my working file and call it a split practice file. And then I go here to documents and save it. Okay, so now I go to my Power BI, I bring in that file. And voila. So I must go to transform because this thing obviously needs transformation. Talking like a politician now, is it a pastor? It needs to be transformed. You need to. All right. So now that I'm here, as you can see, the issue is one that in the normal, if you're used to Excel, you will be like, okay, this, how do we go about it? So in Power Query, which also exists in Excel too, there is split. And this split is way more powerful than text to column. So this split does what we will be able to do what we need. So I'm going to say split by limiter. Okay. So I'm going to say the delimiter is a comma. So that at first I'm going to have, so it's a comma. So at least I separate them, I separate the pairs out, the SKU name pair, I separate them out. But now I'm going to say to split into rows. So this is the thing that makes the difference. This is the thing that is not in the usual text to color that those of you who are familiar with Excel already use. So I pick two rows and then I say, okay, voila. Are you seeing? So now that I've done this, I'm going to now do another split. So I'm going to do another split and say, okay, cool. Now I need you to split again by the delimiter. And the delimiter is going to be also going to be the hyphen. So split by the hyphen, which you have seen. And then this one, I'm okay with you splitting into columns. So I just go ahead and I click on OK. So I click on OK. Voila. And as I've explained to us, I'll say use first row as header. So use first row as header. And work is done. Okay. So this is amazing, right? And that is what a split can do in Power Query. It can allow you to achieve, this a lot more robust way of splitting things. Okay, so how many more minutes do I have? 5 more minutes. Let me see if I can sneak in something more. Is there any other thing I can sneak in before the time is up? Okay. I think let me stop here. Yes, let me stop here. Any questions from what I've done so far? Any questions? Anything you want me to go over again, or anything you feel you have a close real life situation or close real life one on that you want to make permission?
Hello, good evening,
Yes, sir.
Michael. Good
Mm-hmm.
evening. My name is Ladi. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity that you have been sharing with most of us. I really appreciate it. What I would like to say is not a question per se, but I've been trying to go over some of the previous meetings that we've had, or maybe trainings that we've had, but I'm not always having access to those videos. so that I can always catch up with whatever I've missed, in the course of the training. So I don't know how you can help us on that. I'm not sure. I might not be the only one that is having that problem. So thank you.
All right. So it's even a good question because it's helping me. You know, uh, there is a every week when we do this. So we do for Excel. Excel happens at 4 p.m. So today's one has been done already. We do for financial modeling. That one happens at 2 p.m. And we do for the Power BI, which is the one you are in now, which is happening at 6 p.m. So every week after the session, there's a recording, and then I have a member of my team that works on the recording, cuts whatever needs to be cut, uploads on YouTube, and so there's a YouTube playlist. So I'm going to grab you the playlist called Office Hour. So this playlist is where we put all the recordings of past sessions. So from I think we started this middle of last year. So all the sessions from going far back to that July or August when we started, you're going to see them. So let me just grab this link now and paste in the chat box so that you can see. So all the recordings are available here. So that is number one. Now, number two is that we have a community page. So this is the one for example, but since we're on Power BI, let me just demonstrate with the one that is for the Power BI. So Power BI. Now, this community page, what I do is every week, apart from what I do, which is I do once a week, the Meetup, this thing is on Meetup. Meetup sends you notification twice. So they will send you 6 days to the event and 1 day to the event, right? But me, I go a step further. Every week, I send an email that has the details of the event for the week and then the recording of the events that have happened previously, so the sessions previously. So what I'm trying to emphasize is it's good you join this community. So that way, without you even asking or bothering to go to YouTube, you will get an email from me directly to you, saying these are the recordings for the last session. So that way, the chances of you forgetting and things piling up, is reduced. So let me show you the mail I sent out today. So today I sent out, where is, see? So I sent out an email to which when I send it out, it goes to everybody in the community. It says, oh, welcome, these are the sessions we have today. And more importantly, this is the recording of the session we did last week. So like last week for Power BI, we did predictive analytics using Python in Power BI. And this is I put the link. So that way, anybody who is already part of that community is going to get this email and is going to be aware, like he doesn't even need to go and start fishing through YouTube. He's going to just click on the link and watch the session he missed. So that's like my elaborate answer to your question. So thank you for the question. Any other questions? Okay, so it's exactly 7 p.m. Today has been a long day. We got a special guest for the Excel one that I'm so joyous. I just want to go and sleep. So thank you very, very much. And I hope to see you again next week.